What's good, everybody? Welcome to my channel. My name is JustClark, and I'm a little bit sick today, so my voice may sound a little bit weird. So today I just want to share a quick little rendering tip that I learned that helps when, say you got a lot of commissions, or maybe just a lot of projects that you're working on, because you love drawing, right? We love drawing in this channel, right? Like, you guys love drawing, right? Obviously, that doesn't mean that you rush your work, and that doesn't mean that you just be careless. But with this key point in mind, it's really gonna help you not only achieve the goal that you want for your illustration, but at the same time, it's gonna save you a lot of time and energy, and it's honestly going to give you a better result than without this key point. So, firstly, I want to get this out the way. What do I mean by rendering? Because a lot of us can have this conception of rendering as, rendering means making the piece beautiful or putting a shit ton of detail, right? Because that's rendering and we like a lot of detail. But essentially, rendering is just like in a video game. There's only a certain area that gets rendered at a time to save like resources and memory and all that kind of stuff. So we put that same principle into the piece. Now I've already worked on the main light and shadow here, so I'm in the rendering phase. This is also a commission, by the way, you know. E. So rendering here is just adding detail at certain areas that, like I said, in the same principle with rendering in a video game. So with this, we want to focus rendering on the areas that we want the viewers to focus on. And in this case, these are my two focal points right here. Senora's face and expression, and obviously, so yeah, these are going to be the key areas that I will focus on rendering. And I don't mean just like, okay, want to focus on the face, right? And so we just focus on the face. No, we also focus on the areas around the face. So here, for example, right, I'm gonna add a little bit more definition to the shadow, add a little bit more depth to the shadows around Senora's face, on the head here. I want to add more depth right here, and also the hair. And for the hair, we want to focus around this area right here. This area. This can be a little bit more lenient, but this area right here, we want to have more careful touches, more careful rendering here. And there's obviously different levels of rendering depending on your style and depending on the artist. I don't like using the term like depending on your style. I would say depending on the decision that you make and the direction you want to take the art piece, right? Because I don't want you guys to be limiting yourself into one style. Obviously, that's good in terms of, say, branding and recognizability, but at the same time, like me personally, I don't really see myself as having a single concrete style. Yet I hear a lot of people, not just online, but people in real life that has seen my works, that say I have a style. So like, honestly, you don't really even have to consciously think about it. I think just go with what you feel looks good, or where you feel you want to take the piece. Say as I'm rendering the hair here, like different artists obviously render hair in a different way. Like some would go simpler, some like what I'm doing right now would kind of add a little bit more definition to the hair. Now see over here, this place isn't as important, but I still want to add some contrast. Still want to darken this area a little bit. But we don't really have to worry so much about this. We want to focus over here. So yeah, I'm just adding a little bit more definition to the shapes to have a little bit more clumps, like give the feel of clumps of hair. So what I'm thinking here are just shadows being cast by the group of hair. Trying to make sure this isn't too symmetrical. So we got some contrast in the shapes. So essentially I'm just gonna work on rendering around this area and here. Same goes with all the other places. And I'm gonna be right back and show y'all the final result. Alright y'all, so I do gotta admit it's been a couple days. I finished this commission first before I finished recording this video because I had a deadline. So looking closely here, as y'all can see, I put a lot more details around this area, areas surrounding the face, and of course areas that surrounds this part. So if we zoom it out, it's like it's not only rendering but also the composition, obviously, that we got this whole thing like leading the eye towards where you want the eye to look. But nonetheless, there's a lot of little decisions that I make as I'm rendering this piece that helps with basically leading the attention. So firstly, like I said, more details around here, and around here there's a lot more rendering work that I've done, and around this part, this pretty unimportant part, but obviously even though it's unimportant, you don't want to just leave it blank. There's still, as you can see, plenty of rendering done around this area, but the difference here is what I mean by more detail or like more attention towards areas where you want to direct the eyes. It does not mean that you don't put any effort into these quote-unquote unimportant areas. It's just that they're way rougher. Like look, if you zoom in, they're very rough compared to here. They're more refined. There's a lot more smaller shapes going on. Here it's just like, obviously there's rendering, but say the hair for example, like I just airbrush ambient light on the hair and that's about it. Same thing here, got a lot more detail around here, around these two areas. This part is just kind of more rough and less detailed. Same thing with the background. Say with this area around here, I just left it a little more rough, airbrushed it a little bit more, got rid of the details so that it can focus more towards here. Basically your eyes are creating contrast between this, and this will take much more focus compared to this area right here. And if that was more rendered, then it's gonna be a little bit confusing for the eyes. But we got the most detail in these areas and in these areas right here. So yeah, just a little quick tip in terms of rendering. Anyways, hope you guys, hope this little tip helped. Let me know in the comments down below what y'all think, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Yeah.